Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lachelle. If you are new, welcome here. I like to talk about self-love, wellness, and I give lifestyle tips. If you're interested in that, click that subscribe button. Also turn on the notifications so you can know when I upload. What was I about to say? My mind is really going blank. Like, is this part of being 20 something? Anyway, this video is in partnership with Dear 20 Something. Dear 20 Something is a support group that was founded by my friend Amber Jewel Jones. You can learn more by following her here on Instagram, and you can also subscribe to her newsletter. It is the bomb. You will definitely be blessed by subscribing to those newsletters that come out every Wednesday. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so this is the first video of my Dear 20 Something series. I want to talk about a couple of things that I've been going through in my 20s, my quarter life crisis as I like to call it, and I felt like it was important for me to share this information because I feel like, you know, the things that I go through, everybody kind of goes through, or most of us go through, and somebody can relate. So if this video helps just one person, that's all I want. You know, I just want to help people. And so the name of this video, I think I'm going to title it 20 something and healing, because at first I was going to title it 20 something and broken, but you know, we're not going to declare that. We're just going through a healing process. For me, I can't say it enough, 2019 was really a pivotal year for me. So much changed in my life in 2019, and so much is still changing. And I don't like change. Like, my pattern app actually says the timing of my life is major life changes, and I'm gonna pull it up so y'all can see it. Like, seriously, can y'all see that? Focus on it. Focus, baby, can you focus on me? Okay, it's not focusing. But the phase that I'm in right now is moving forward, expanded vision, and then major life changes. And according to the timing in my life on the pattern app, I'm going to be going through major life changes for the next 2 years. How do I feel about that? I'm actually very freaking terrified. I'm terrified of that because I like routine. I like for things to stay the same. And I talked about it a little bit in my previous video when I did like a chit chat / life update about me being laid off from my job, me dealing with my mental health. I also went through a breakup. I didn't mention that, but I went through a breakup after being in a relationship for 5 years, which was really devastating for me. And it was devastating because, one, I'm just a relationship person. I've always been in a relationship, but more so because, you know, I envisioned the rest of my life with that person. And it wasn't an easy decision to make, to really just let the situation go. What I was trying to do in that situation, I really was trying to heal it. I really was trying to fix it. And I knew that one of us needed to stop the cycle. We needed to stop the pattern of the on again, the off again, the I have time for it and I don't have time for it, the I'm in it and this person is out of it, and vice versa. It was just a lot of back and forth, and a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misunderstandings. And I'm definitely, it's been a year now, I'm definitely in a better mental space than I was then. And I've definitely learned a lot since that time because I've been in therapy. I've been in therapy for a year and 1 month consistently. I mean, either every week or every other week, I'm talking to my therapist. And I needed it. I needed it because what I found out was that I was very broken and my relationship was toxic. I didn't know that it was toxic, and I also didn't know that I was broken until I went to therapy. So if you are, you know, a 20-something and healing, that's one of the first things I would suggest. I would suggest that you try to get a therapist. Like, therapy can get expensive. It can get really expensive, but it's definitely worth it. Therapy for me is like, it opens my third eye, because a lot of times when we're in patterns and we're used to doing things a certain way, we don't see what they see. You know, they have a totally different perspective, and sometimes we have all the pieces, everything that we need is within us, but we need someone to help us put it together. And that's what therapy does for me. Therapy helps me put the pieces of the puzzle together. When I first started my self-love series, I talked about, you know, what is self-love and defining self-love. And I talked about how I read You Can Heal Your Life, and how I realized, you know, there were so many things that I needed to work on. In therapy, I realized that I still need to work on those things, and those negative core beliefs are still in the back of my mind. Those are things that I'm constantly working on. I'm constantly desensitizing. I'm constantly unraveling those things and digging deep and learning it. And that's what I talked to my therapist about yesterday. When I was in therapy, we talked about learning the lesson. And it's important for us, especially in our 20-somethings, to learn the lesson. Sometimes, I would say for me in relationships, I would go from like one to the next. Like a serial monogamous is what the name of it is. Like literally, that was on my pattern app as well. I'm a serial monogamist. I would go from relationship to relationship to relationship, or from a relationship to a situationship. I've never truly been single. I've been at least serious with somebody or talking to someone since I was 16. So for the past 10 years of my life, there's always been some guy at some point on some level. I have never been in a space where nobody's calling me, nobody is talking to me, I'm not texting nobody, I'm not I've never been in that space. And for me, I think it's really healing, because it's time for me to learn about myself. And in our 20s, before we get to our 20s, most of our life is defined for us, right? You know, our parents, they kind of sway us one way or the other, kind of guide us and maneuver us and where we should go, where we should be, and what we should do, where we should live, the type of jobs and careers we should pursue. And all of the time, you know, we don't have our own identity, and that's what I struggle with. I really don't know who I am outside of a relationship. And I'm being really vulnerable and really open and really honest in this video, so bear with me, okay? But yeah, I really don't know who I am outside of a relationship. I just always have been attached to someone in some way, and I know why, because I have a fear of abandonment that came from the way that I grew up. I didn't grow up with my biological parents. I wasn't in the household with them. I was raised by a very loving couple, which for me, you know, was such a blessing. and I love them forever. You know, I wouldn't change anything about my life for any reason. But those were issues that I developed. And now I'm 27 years old, and I'm just now learning that those experiences from when I was 5 and when I was 6, those things I can remember vividly, are triggered by other events in my life. Another thing that has been very helpful for me during this process of healing in my 20s has been my friendships. When I tell you I have some super solid, super supportive friends that have uplifted me and supported me and ride or die, just been there in my corner, to tell me when I'm wrong, to tell me when I'm being silly, to tell me when I'm tripping, to tell me stuff I don't want to hear all the time. To be quite honest, sometimes I wouldn't want to hear certain things that they would say, but they said it anyway. And that's something that's, you know, money cannot buy. And most of my friends now are friends that I met in college, which I'm so thankful for that experience, and I'm so thankful to have them in my life. These are people that I will always cherish, and I will always, you know, give them the credit that is due for helping me throughout my healing process. Another thing is, you know, having a great sense of community. I posted this picture, and I'll put it up somewhere. I posted this picture on Instagram, and I talked about not, you know, the things that I go through, not feeling like I'm enough, not feeling like, you know, I'm pretty enough, getting over my heart being broken over and over and over and over again. And so many people poured into me on that picture, and I often just go back to it just to look at it and read it, because we have to quiet the negative self-talk. Like, we tell ourselves some horrible things about ourselves that are not true, that are based off of this false reality. And what I've been doing is, you know, reprogramming my mind. I definitely been reprogramming my mind. I've been listening to videos about, you know, manifestation and the law of attraction and detachment. I read this book called Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks that's really been healing. Y'all heard that? Anyway, I've been watching this. I read this book called Ask and It Is Given by, you know, Jeffrey, I think, and Esther Hicks, something like that. I'll put a link in the description box where you can purchase the book. It's not an affiliate link. I'm just gonna tell you where you can get it. I had it on Audible, so I listened to it. I read that book, and it really just changed my perspective about the way that we think, and how the way that we think attracts things in our lives, or stop things from coming into our lives that we want. And so another thing that I would suggest is just, you know, reprogramming your mind when you're trying to heal. That's just a part of the process. And feel the emotion. Feel your feelings. Like, if you're upset, if you're angry, if you're happy, if you're sad, it doesn't matter what you feel. Feel the emotion, because you have to acknowledge what you feel. For me, I felt like, you know, I went through this phase where I was just sick of self-love. I'm sick of people telling me to pour into myself and love myself and focus on myself. Like, you know, I just want to love somebody. I went through that phase. Like, seriously and honestly, I didn't want to pour into myself. I wanted to pour into somebody else. I wanted to give my love to somebody else. I don't want to give myself love. I didn't want to, you know, write love notes to myself and, you know, work out and drink more water and keep journaling and all this stuff, because you feel hopeless at some point. And I know I have felt hopeless in my healing process, feeling like God doesn't hear your prayers, and feeling like, you know, what's the point of praying at all, and feeling like, what's the point of manifesting? What's the point of this journaling? Why am I doing this? You know, you feel like everything is pointless at some point. And I've been there and I've felt that. And so I don't blame people for feeling that. You know, that's a very real thing in your 20s and really just in life in general. But I had to feel it and I had to acknowledge it. I had to go through it instead of going around it. For me. Because a pattern of mine was like distracting myself from it. Or, you know, when I start to think a thought I don't want to think, I just do something else and not overcome the thought. You have to overcome the thought. So when it comes again, it doesn't phase you. It doesn't trigger you anymore. That I'm doing in my healing journey is learning to trust again. As I said before, 2019 was a very, very, like, I can't even explain it. It was hard. It was super hard. I didn't trust God. I didn't trust myself with my own decisions. I barely trusted anybody. And part of my healing is me like learning to trust again. And restoring hope and believing in life and believing that the things that I write in my journal, that the things that I manifest can actually come true. And when I tell you, I'm so thankful for therapy. I'm so thankful for therapy, for, you know, me and Sherry, we be getting my life together. I'm thankful for therapy because therapy has allowed me to dig really deep and put those pieces of the puzzle together and recognize the areas where I wasn't trusting, where I didn't, you know, trust in my relationship. I didn't trust that it would last. I didn't trust, you know, myself with my career. I didn't trust God with my prayers. Like, I wanted to have so much control over everything. Like, I wanted to orchestrate every little thing, and if I couldn't put my hands on it, if I couldn't tweak it and make it this way at this certain point, I would just lose it. And it caused me to, you know, sabotage my relationships with, you know, not just my romantic relationships, but my relationships with my family. Some of those relationships where I would just sabotage it. And I'm really, really proud of the point that I'm at now, where I see it. I see. My eyes are open. My third eye is open. And I feel like I'm having my spiritual awakening in some sense. So if you are a 20-something and you are healing, I send you all of the love and the light in the world. You are worth it. You are worthy. You are blessed. You are beautiful. You are God sent. You are loved. You are important. You are valued. You are loving. You are worth love. You are more than enough. And you can trust yourself. You can trust other people. You are not a failure. You are a success. You are a blessing. And don't ever forget any of that. Any of that. Any of it. Don't ever forget who you are. And if you don't know who you are, like me, I'm finding out who I am. Rediscovering who I am. Getting back to who I was before. Or a new version of me. I'm figuring it out. And I am taking y'all along for the journey. So that's going to be all for this video. I didn't want to be too long-winded. I know I got real deep real quick, but hey, that's just how it goes when you're on my channel. The next Dear's 20 something video, I'm going to be talking about career and money and kind of figuring those things out, because that's another transitional phase that I'm going through. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me being transparent and open and vulnerable and sharing my story and sharing my life. I only share it to help someone. Again, this video is in partnership with Dear 20 something. Make sure you go follow Amber J. Jones on Instagram. You can follow me at Katie No Guru on Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave the information somewhere on the screen. Again, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please share it with a friend. Share it with another 20 something. Share it with your mama, your uncle, your auntie. Tell somebody that Katie out here trying to share some love with the people. Okay? And also don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, peace.